Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Jessica Peterson, and I'm an outpatient mental health and substance abuse therapist at Harbor Beach Community Hospital. I do outpatient mental health and substance abuse therapy right here in the clinics. So I've been doing a series of videos on mental health during COVID, and this video is also about mental health. It's slightly different, and you'll see why by the end. But I want to talk today about people who are secretly anxious about quarantine ending. And before I begin, I wanted to let you know that I do put my resources in the comment section, so you can follow along with that if I go too fast or after the video you want to look things up. So talking about people who may be secretly anxious about quarantine ending. The reason I say secretly is not because I want anyone to hide their feelings, not because I'm saying this is a negative feeling to have or you shouldn't have this. The reason I say secretly is because many people are probably holding it in. It is a very conflicting feeling and message to yourself. So, and the reason I also say conflicting is because maybe we're telling ourselves we should be thankful and grateful that things are returning slowly back to normal or going to be returning back to normal. We should be grateful that that means people are getting healthier, that the pandemic is slowing down. But it's okay to be anxious about life returning back to this pre-quarantine stuff. Going into quarantine was a big change for a lot of us, a huge change for some people. And treat coming out of quarantine as gentle as that big change was going into. So I don't know any change, it's okay to be anxious. And I also want to say that those who are anxious about the quarantine ending and being anxious about the quarantine ending does not mean that we're discounting the impact that coronavirus has had maybe on our loved ones, family, the country as a whole. That's not discounting the fact that we know that there has been an impact, and that's not a great feeling. But just because you're anxious about quarantine ending doesn't mean you don't want it to. I guess just being anxious about this new phase in life or this new change. And some of you may be thinking, how can anybody be anxious about this? I'm anxious about being at home. I'm anxious about not being able to work. And I'm not discounting that at all. I've done videos on the amount of stressors that can be on your life right now in quarantine. I've done videos on the impact of mental health symptoms during quarantine. And so this is not discounting the fact that people are having these feelings while in quarantine, just simply another side of this about people who are having some anxiety as quarantine comes to a close, hopefully. But so, I also realize that not everyone has felt this worsened mental state during quarantine. Some of us have flourished. Not everyone has had this enlightening experience, but there has been people who have actually felt better as their world calmed down some. So follow along with this new perspective here. So for some of us who have flourished or done better in quarantine, our world has slowed down. There's, for some of us, less stressors than normal. We've gotten to spend more time with our families. We've gotten to just slow down life, just slowing down. And with this slowing down of life, it allows us to feel positive emotions that we typically wouldn't feel. And just because I never leave this out, negative emotions that we might not have felt too. So when we're slowing down life, we have a chance to feel these emotions. And some of us, a lot of positive emotions. So if you're just not feeling what positive emotions you could be getting out of being in quarantine, I'll give you some examples. So the feelings of being cozy at home with your family, getting to spend more time with your family, getting to maybe know each other better or worse, but having these positive feelings of being connected to your own family members inside your house, and gratitude for health. A lot of the times before this, when we were busy in our racing life, we wouldn't have had this feeling, and maybe some of us would, but we wouldn't have this feeling of being grateful that we're healthy. So we've got to experience a lot of things, maybe even grateful that we're able to eat the food we are, grateful that we can get toilet paper, anything. Gratitude is a positive experience coming out of this quarantine, and maybe hopefully we can continue that as we return back to this normal life. Maybe we can continue some of this gratitude. But on to different subject. So again, the world has slowed down for a lot of us. Calmer and without these stressors. Imagine a cocoon, being in the safe, warm cocoon. And it's also given us a chance to do nothing at all without this guilt. It gives us a chance to get rid of that fear of missing out feeling, that FOMO, because we're quarantined. And a chance to pursue goals with time that we might not have otherwise had. So now, great, we have that feeling. Quarantine is coming to an end soon, and we still have this anxiety. What's the solution? Well, first, the gradual return that the states are doing right now, the staggering of openings and stuff like that, well, that may not be great for the economy, and that's up for debate. I'm trying to catch all sides here. It is great for people with anxiety about this ending because they can slowly rejoin life as we knew it. And like the social restrictions, staggering, those can be very helpful too. Another thing is our mindset. So if we focus on the present moment and accept our lives just as it is right now, no judgment. We judge ourselves, come on, we all do it. But if we really pay attention to that and learn and practice not judging any feeling that comes in, this will be really great for some of that anxiety we may be feeling as everything opens up again. And this leads into mindfulness. So mindfulness would be approaching this post-quarantine life with some intention. Mindfulness is paying attention to our present moment without judgment. So without judging any feelings that are coming in as negative or positive, and noticing these thoughts and feelings rather than getting lost in them. Again, I have a resource for mindfulness, a really great beginner's resource in the comment section. But I want you to know that mindfulness doesn't always have to be hard to do. We can do this anywhere. So a lot of the times, a great example of mindfulness is something that I teach a lot because I like it to use it myself and because it's a great beginner's tool to mindfulness. And that's the 5 senses. 5 senses. This is a great mindfulness tool to use, and you can use it anywhere. But it also helps bring your mind back to this present moment right now at this time. Not future, what I should be doing, what I could be doing, not past, what I did wrong, or anything along those lines. It brings us back to this present moment. I like to use this with people when they start experiencing this high increase of anxiety and they can feel it coming on. It's really good to bring us back to this present moment and ignore those thoughts of anxiety because we really simply can't think of 2 thoughts at the same time, and we're stronger than our minds. So the 5 senses, you simply name things around your environment. And you can do this out loud if you're very brave, or inside is fine too. So we start off by describing 5 things that we can see. So that might mean, I'm talking about this green plant I have here and this white pot it's in. Really describing, as silly as it sounds, really describing that, because the longer you bring your mind away from that thought that was giving you that anxiety, the more that thought disappears. So describing those 5 senses, 5 things that we see, and then we're going to go to 4 things that we can feel and really describe this. So maybe it's your feet on the ground. How does that feel? Maybe you're in bed. How does the sheets feel on your legs? Maybe I have my computer mouse right here. Maybe it's pretty rubbery actually, but it describing really how you feel. Again, we're pulling our mind away from future, past, or anything, right to this present moment. We don't do that a lot. We're not always that great at doing that, myself included. It's really can be tough, but let me get back on track. So 5 things you can see, four things you can feel, moving down, 3 things that you can hear. So I hear, right now I hear some traffic. I might hear some phone ringings, and I'm not describing it for the purpose of this video, but really get in your head and describe what that sounds like. And your mind's gonna want to wander. Your mind's gonna want to say, oh, remember, phone ringing. I might have to make that phone call later. Bring it back and name something else you're hearing. So we have 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, 3 things you hear, 2 things you smell, and hopefully it's a good smell, but it could be bad too, and 1 thing you taste. Really describe everything to yourself or out loud. And that's a great, mindfulness is very easy to use. You can get them mixed up, that's okay. You can say 5 things you feel and 4 things you see. You can get them, it's okay, whatever way works for you, and it's going to be different in different environments. But again, check out the comment section because I have the sheet that has this on it, so you don't have to remember it. And I want to leave you with the thought of starting off slow. So protect your mental health. That's very, very important. And something we kind of discount sometimes, but protect your mental health. Start off slow if you're very anxious about returning back to post quarantine life. So start small. Maybe it's just meeting with our family at first. Maybe it's declining an invitation to go somewhere twice in one weekend. It's okay. Start off small. You have to be the advocate for your own mental health, and it's just everyone's job around you to try to be accepting of that. You're your own advocate, so start small. I hope everyone's staying healthy and safe, and maybe even really enjoying this time, the time we have left in quarantine. So stay safe, stay healthy. I'm hoping to do some more videos soon again, and I will see you then. Bye.